Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I'm honored to share with you the fascinating story of television, an invention that has dramatically shaped modern life, culture, and communication. The television, or TiV as we commonly call it, has become an integral part of our daily lives, but its journey from an idea to the centerpiece of our living rooms is a story filled with innovation, competition, and an unrelenting pursuit of technological advancement. This journey spans over a century, involving numerous inventors, scientists, and visionaries who collectively contributed to the development of what we now take for granted. The story of television begins in the late 19th century during a time of significant technological innovation. The roots of TV can be traced back to earlier inventions like the telegraph and the telephone, which had already begun to change the way people communicated across distances. It was within this context that inventors and scientists started exploring the possibility of transmitting images alongside sound. One of the first concepts to emerge was that of the electric telescope, an idea that aimed to send images over long distances using electricity. Paul Nipkow, a German inventor, played a critical role in these early developments. In 1884, Nipkow devised a mechanical device known as the Nipkow disc, which could break down an image into a series of light points that could be transmitted sequentially. Although Nipkow's invention laid important groundwork, the technology of the time was not advanced enough to make his vision a practical reality. However, the Nipkow disc would later become a key component in the development of early television systems. As the 20th century dawned, new advancements in electronics began to accelerate the progress of television technology. Two major figures in the early history of television are John Logie Baird, a Scottish engineer, and Philo Farnsworth, an American inventor. Baird, often credited as the first person to demonstrate a working television system, achieved this milestone in 1925. Using a combination of the Nipkow disc and other components, Baird successfully transmitted a moving image of a ventriloquist's dummy over a short distance. This demonstration marked a pivotal moment in the history of television, showing that the concept was indeed feasible. Around the same time, Philo Farnsworth was independently working on his own version of television in the United States. Unlike Baird's mechanical system, Farnsworth's approach was entirely electronic. In 1927, at just 21 years old, Farnsworth successfully transmitted the first electronic television image, a simple straight line, from one room to another in his laboratory. Farnsworth's invention, which he called the image dissector, was a precursor to the modern television camera tube. His work laid the foundation for the electronic television systems that would soon dominate the industry. The 1930s were a crucial decade for the development of television. During this time, major corporations began to see the potential of this new medium and invested heavily in its advancement. The Radio Corporation of America, RCA, under the leadership of David Sarnoff, was particularly influential. RCA's head engineer Vladimir Zworykin was a Russian-born scientist who had been working on electronic television technology since the 1920s. Zworykin developed the iconoscope, an early form of a television camera tube that significantly improved image quality and stability. This invention, combined with RCA's financials, backing, and marketing power, helped position the United States as a leader in television technology. By the late 1930s, television was ready to make its public debut. The world's first major television broadcast took place in 1936 during the Berlin Summer Olympics. The event was televised to a small audience in Germany, marking the first time that live television coverage of a major international event was provided. Around the same time, the BBC in the United Kingdom began regular television broadcasts using Baird's mechanical system. However, it quickly became apparent that electronic television offered superior quality, leading to the eventual adoption of fully electronic systems. World War II temporarily halted the progress of television development as resources were diverted to the war effort. However, the war also demonstrated the power of broadcast media, particularly radio, and shape public opinion and delivering news. This experience only heightened interest in television as a post-war communication tool. After the war ended, television technology and programming rapidly expanded, particularly in the United States. The late 1940s and early 1950s marked the beginning of the television boom. In the United States, television sets became more affordable and widely available, leading to a rapid increase in the number of households with TV. As the first major television networks, including NBC, CBS, and ABC, began to emerge, offering a variety of programming that ranged from news and sports to entertainment and educational content, the introduction of live broadcasts allowed audiences to experience events as they happened, further cementing television's role in society. As television became more popular, the medium also began to influence culture in unprecedented ways. Television shows such as I Love Lucy and The Ed Sullivan Show became cultural phenomena, reaching millions of viewers each week and shaping public tastes and trends. The 1950s are often referred to as the golden age of television, a period when the medium was still new and innovative, and when programming was characterized by creativity and experimentation. While the United States was leading the way in television development and programming, other countries were also making significant strides. In the United Kingdom, the BBC continued to be a major player in television broadcasting, producing high-quality programming that set standards worldwide. In Japan, NHK began regular television broadcasts in the early 1950s, and Japanese manufacturers soon became leaders in television technology, producing some of the world's first color TVs. Color television was one of the most significant technological advancements in the history of the medium. While experiments with color TV began as early as the 1940s, it wasn't until the 1950s and 1960s that the technology became viable for widespread use. RCA was again at the forefront of this development, introducing the first commercially available color television set in 19. However, it took several more years before color television became the standard, as the technology was expensive and there was limited color programming available initially. The 1960s and 1970s saw television continue to grow in influence and reach. During this period, television played a crucial role in covering major historical events. The 1963 assassination of President John F. Kennedy was one of the first major news events to be covered live on television, with millions of viewers tuning in to follow the unfolding tragedy. A few years later, in 1910, the Apollo 11 moon landing was broadcast live to a global audience, marking one of the most significant moments in television history. These events demonstrated television's unique ability to bring people together in shared experiences regardless of geographic location. The rise of satellite technology in the 1970s further expanded television's reach, allowing for the transmission of signals over vast distances. This development made it possible for people in different parts of the world to watch the same broadcast simultaneously, creating a truly global audience. This period also saw the emergence of cable television, which provided viewers with more channels and content choices, breaking the monopoly of the major broadcast networks. As television entered the 1980s and 1990s, the medium continued to evolve in response to new technologies and changing viewer habits. The introduction of digital technology and the internet began to blur the lines between television and other forms of media. The rise of personal video recorders, PVRs, like TiVo allowed viewers to record and watch programs on their own schedules, challenging the traditional model of scheduled programming. Meanwhile, the proliferation of cable and satellite channels led to the fragmentation of the television audience, as viewers now had more options than ever before. The 21st century has brought even more profound changes to the television landscape. The advent of high-definition HD television and, more recently, 4K and 8K resolution has significantly improved picture quality, enhancing the viewing experience. At the same time, the rise of streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime has transformed the way we consume television content. These platforms have given viewers unprecedented control over what they watch and when they watch it, leading to the decline of traditional broadcast television. Despite these changes, television remains a powerful and influential medium. It continues to be a primary source of news, entertainment, and cultural expression for billions of people around the world. Moreover, television's ability to adapt to new technologies and changing viewer preferences has ensured its continued relevance in the digital age. In conclusion, the history of television is a story of innovation, competition, and cultural impact. From its early beginnings in the late 19th century to its current form in the digital age, television has continually evolved, shaping and reflecting the societies in which it exists. As we look to the future, it is clear that television will continue to play a central role in our lives, adapting to new technologies and finding new ways to connect us to the world around us. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, click and share.